This Michigan football team is in major, and I mean major trouble, and nobody really saw this coming, but here's the thing, maybe we should have. College football these past couple of weeks has been one insane chaotic mess, and I think we all know that. From the transfer portal to the NIL to head coaches leaving, going to a different school to the playoff, you name it, we got it. But however, there's been a team that's been laying low under the radar throughout all of this, and they go by the name of Michigan. Good old Michigan! Man, oh man, what a season it's been for them. Up to this point, they ran the table, they beat Ohio State, they really embarrassed them, and they also won their conference championship. The Michigan football team and program, they're soaring up. They're at an all-time high. We already knew they got one of the best defenses in the country, but now they found their future star quarterback, and Jim Harbaugh, he's starting to reach the expectations that many people thought he would. As a Michigan fan, you can't ask for too much more, and I've even had some Michigan fans tell me they're shocked they're doing this good. Whoa, 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 hold on. With all that great stuff being said, we got a drastic turn of events. Michigan football is in major, and I mean major trouble. We're going to talk all about it in today's video. As most of you know, we're on the road to 260K subscribers before Christmas, and we're right at it. We're on the final stretch. We're cutting it close. We are less than 2,000 away. It's simple. If you like college football and you want to be a part of our amazing community, consider subscribing. If not, that's cool too. All right, Matt, blah, blah, blah. Shut the crap up now. Without further ado, let's get into it. Woo! Man, oh man, I'm so excited to get into this one. Hope you guys are as well. First things first, real quick, I want to address this because somebody sent it to me and asked me to talk about it. And just like always, if you ever want me to talk about something in a video, all you got to do is send it to me on Twitter and Instagram, and 95% of the time, we're going to talk about it. This tweet reads off, Florida losing a commit to UCF is just another sign that the Gators are on the decline and the Knights are on the rise. Gator fans should be very concerned right now. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet because there's nothing really to say about it. Anybody with common sense knows that UCF isn't even a threat to Florida. Look, I get it. Florida, they're in a terrible situation. That program is not in a good situation at that, but it's still Florida. They've had a rough stretch on the road. They're reminding me a lot of Alabama before Nick Saban got there. I'm sorry, but trying to even compare UCF and Florida, laughable to me. And I'm not even saying that Florida is a better football team than UCF, because if they play tomorrow, UCF would probably win the game. But what I'm saying is there's not even comparison when you're talking about programs and recruiting. As far as it goes for that last sentence, Gator fans should be very concerned right now. I strongly disagree. You should not. There's nothing to even talk about here. Like I've said multiple times, you're in a rough stretch of the road. The only thing Florida is missing is a great head coach. They'll eventually find one and they'll figure it out and they'll be back to winning 9-10 games a year. I don't know when that will happen, but eventually it will. So to all my Florida fans, I would not be concerned about this whatsoever. Did want to speak on that briefly. Somebody sent it to me. But now, moving on to the main topic, the main encore, the main reason you clicked onto this video, we gotta talk about Michigan. Whoa, 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 hold on. I know what all of you are sitting there saying to yourself. Yo, Matt, what are you talking about? Michigan's in major trouble. Yo, Matt, what's going on? I haven't heard anything about this. What could this be? I gotta give y'all credit. Those are some great questions, and let's just say you're in for a interesting video to say the least. Let me start out with this first. In 2021, not this season, last year in 2021, Michigan, they destroyed Ohio State, right? You see the score. It was 42-27. It wasn't even really a ball game. Michigan, they out-toughed them and blah, 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 blah. We know how that went. Michigan dominated, and yes, that's right, they dominated Ohio State. Count them, ladies and gentlemen. Michigan had 297 rushing yards, and Ohio State only had 64. Yeah, that's what I like to call complete domination. Ohio State averaged 2.1 yards per carry. On the other hand, Michigan averaged over 7. Michigan and Jim Harbaugh just straight up outclassed Ohio State with a lesser quarterback, and most people wrote this off as a fluke and was saying, well, Ohio State beat them the last 8 or 9 times. Michigan was due for a win. And I get that argument, Ohio State fans, because I was in the same boat. I was going, well, yeah, it's about time Michigan won one. But then, fast forward time to our current year, 2022, Michigan dominated them once again. So now you can't even say it's a fluke. Michigan's just a tougher ball team than Ohio State, and Ohio State is soft. And the sad part about it is Ohio State has far more talent than Michigan, and yet they're still getting destroyed. Why is that? It's simple. Ohio State is soft. I'm going to emphasize that throughout this video. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Y'all know how this goes. I don't want to talk about it too long. Michigan goes into Columbus without their Heisman contending star running back and beats them by 22 points. And yet again, Michigan has over 250 yards on the ground, averaging, once again, 7.2 yards per carry to be exact. You get the trend of things, and I already know what these delusional Ohio State fans are about to say. Well, Matt, we held them to like 10 yards rushing in the first half. Yes, Ohio State fans, you did that, but last time I checked, there's 2 halves snaps in a football game. When it comes to some of the most delusional and obnoxious fans to ever walk this earth, it's gotta be Ohio State fans. You can't change my mind. I thought Tennessee fans were bad, but here's the difference. When Tennessee fans, whenever they win these big games against Alabama, LSU, they're gonna brag, and yeah, it's gonna be annoying. However, whenever they lose, they're gonna shut up for the most part. Ohio State fans are a different breed. I have never seen a fan base brag and showboat after losing games like they do. The nerve of the Ohio State fan base, and I'm not talking about the great fans and the good fans, y'all know who you are, but some of the fans is some of the worst behavior I've ever seen. I just can't wrap my mind around getting obliterated at home by 22 points. You make the playoff luckily, and you have the nerve to brag. And I'm not talking about making the playoff. You should be happy about that. But I'm talking about Ohio State fans are going, oh yeah, we're back, baby. Georgia, they don't know what's coming. Like, are you serious? Georgia don't know what's coming? I think it's the other way, partner. I don't think you know what's coming. That's a different conversation for a different day. Let's get back on track with Michigan. Now, I get it. You're probably confused going, okay, Matt, why are you bringing up the 2 games Michigan played against Ohio State for? Yet again, it's another great question, but continue to follow along because it's leading me into my point exactly. Let me ask you a question. In these 2 games Michigan beat Ohio State in 2021 and 2022, who was the favorite? Ohio State, right? Michigan thrived in these games because they had the mentality going into it, hey, we're the underdog. We got nothing to lose. We're not even supposed to win the game. There was no pressure on Michigan whatsoever. They were playing freely. Michigan wasn't supposed to win these games. Ohio State was the favorite. Ultimately, though, to make a long story short, Michigan wins. Why? Because Ohio State is soft. Remember, I'm going to emphasize that because I don't know what's changed with Ohio State the past few years because they used to be this hard-nosed team with great linebacker play. Now they're just soft. To say that Ohio State's defense is bad, that would be an understatement. It's an embarrassment. Fast forward in time though, as you can see on your screen, TCU and Michigan, they play in about, 10 days now? They play on New Year's Eve and, oh, would you look at that? What does that say? Can y'all read that off to me? Michigan is a 7.5, or not 7.5. Yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. 7.5 favorite. I was trying to say 7.5 point, but that doesn't make sense. Let's just roll with it. Nobody's really going to look at that and think it's a big deal, but to me it is, and I'll explain why. I know how this Michigan team is. They thrive in that underdog role and mentality. They love when people count them out. They love when people root against them. But now, everybody's picking them to win this game. I don't know a single person that is actually picking TCU to upset Michigan. And we're talking about a top 3 matchup. For a team to be favored more than 7 points, that's a lot. That concerns me though, because now the Michigan players, they've really never been in this role outside of cupcake teams they played all throughout the season. And this one's different because number 1, this isn't a cupcake team. TCU's a really good football team. And number 2, you're the favorite in a playoff game. Now what it's starting to create is you got these players going, well, dang, we're not used to this. Now we're supposed to win. If we lose, everybody's going to laugh at us. We're 10 days away. That pressure, it's starting to creep in, and they're thinking about it. Nobody wants to be the team that is known for losing to TCU, a team that most people don't even think should be in the playoff. Now you may see your quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, underthrow or overthrow some of those long passes he made against Ohio State. Why? Because now he's not playing freely. He's playing like he has something to lose. You're now having these Michigan players going into this TCU game going, okay, let's just try not to lose and get to the championship. Whereas when they were playing Ohio State, that wasn't the mentality. The mentality was, let's go out there and win. If you're an athlete, you know what I'm talking about. This is a real thing. Mentally, I am worried for Michigan. It is a very strange feeling going into a big-time primetime game knowing you're supposed to win by a lot. You have everything, and let me repeat this, everything to lose and nothing to gain. If Michigan beats TCU, what are we going to talk about? Well, yeah, they beat TCU. TCU shouldn't have been in the playoff and yada, yada, yada. But if Michigan loses, oh man, they're going to be clowned. And that's just one reason as to why they're in major trouble to me. It's a mentality thing. And I get it, you're going, well dang Matt, that's really the only reason you think they're in trouble? And no, it's not. The other reason is, what did I tell you to remember that one word? Soft. Once again, I hate to repeat myself, but why did Michigan beat Ohio State? Because Ohio State is soft. Here's the thing with TCU. A lot of people see them as this high-powered offense. They're going to score 45 points, this and that. But they're a really physical football team. Another aspect of their game they don't get enough credit for is their defense. I know what all you're saying. Matt, are you kidding me? Their defense, they're not even that great. And I do agree. The reason I bring it up, though, is because their defense isn't great at anything, but they're also not terrible at anything. They're pretty much a little bit over average. If you don't want to go off of their stats, there's something like the 75th best overall total defense, which is pretty much average. And when it comes to the rushing defense, they're in the top 70s. Once again, you see that, and you pretty much laugh at it. I get it. However, The one thing I like about this TCU team, and I really like it, is they're physical. Do I think they're Georgia physical? Absolutely not even close. But I'll say this, they're more physical than Ohio State. You can't judge this defense off of what you see on the paper and the stat sheet. You got to actually watch them play. The reason it can be deceiving on paper is because they have these spurts where they're really bad and they have these spurts where they're really good. And that's why for the most part, it averages out. I'll give you a great example. At Texas, when they put it together and pretty much pitched a shutout, they held Texas to 3 points. The TCU defense held Quinn Ewers in Texas to 3 points. Yeah, that's pretty dang good. For those of you that don't know, Texas, the reason they do have 10 is because Texas's defense scored 7 points. But outside of that, TCU pitched a shutout. I don't care that TCU's giving up 25 points per game, which if you're going off of the numbers, that's still in the top 60 of 2022, which isn't that bad. They're a physical football team. Because if you want to be honest, if you told TCU they're going to give up 25 points to Michigan, they're probably thinking they're going to win that game. Make no mistakes about it, I don't think TCU is some defensive monster or powerhouse, but they're going to show out better than Ohio State's defense. To go on top of that, that's my point. That's what I'm getting to on this. TCU's defense, they don't have to pitch a shutout. They just got to hold them to under 30 points. This leads me into my next topic perfectly before we end off this video. Michigan hasn't faced an offense like TCU's. Ohio State has one of the best quarterbacks in the country, one of the best wide receivers in the country, but whoever's doing their play calling, whether that's Ryan Day, their offensive coordinator, they're an idiot. The difference with Sonny Dykes and TCU and Max Duggan, they know what to call. I full-on expect Max Duggan to completely shred this Michigan defense. Look what happened in 2021. Although Ohio State lost the game, CJ Stroud, he played phenomenal. He was 34 for 49, 400 yards with 2 touchdowns. This Michigan football team is in major, and I mean major trouble, and nobody really saw this coming. But here's the thing, maybe we should have. When you sit back and look at it, there's just so much stuff that aligns up with TCU is going to pull off this upset. Michigan no longer has the factor of they're the underdog, they don't have the best quarterback in the game, and they're now playing a more physical team than Ohio State. Michigan's a great football team, don't get me wrong, but they haven't really played a team like TCU up to this point. And that leads me to believe, since they haven't played a team like TCU, I don't think they're going to know how to stop them. Number one, you do not have the best quarterback in the game. And number two, what if TCU's rush defense is just slightly better than Ohio State's? Can JJ McCarthy make a ton of big-time throws? I don't know, but that's not who I'd want this game to depend on if I'm a Michigan fan. If I was a Michigan fan, which I'm not, I'd want to see some run success. There's just so many factors that are going against Michigan in this game. I cannot pick them to win, and that's why I got TCU pulling off the big-time upset. TCU will win this game. I think it's going to be close, but they're going to pull it out by 7 points. The Cinderella run continues. I am very curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. Bye.